Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something really important for businesses rooted in a community or, serving a specific local area. Local search engine optimization or local SEO.
Yep.
Think of it as making sure your digital storefront, shines brightest right where your customers are actually looking.
Absolutely. And for this exploration, we're mainly using the Wikipedia entry on local SEO. It's pretty comprehensive, gives us a fantastic base for understanding the what, why, and maybe most importantly, the how behind getting your local business noticed online.
Right, noticed by the people who matter most, your neighbors, potential local clients.
Exactly.
So our mission today is to really dig into this world of local SEO. We want to understand not just what it is, but why it's, pretty essential for local businesses these days. And we'll also be trying to figure out the key factors that influence where a business actually shows up in those online search results. Plus, maybe touch on how local search has evolved and some of the practical things businesses need to think about.
Sounds good.
Okay, so to kick things off, what is local SEO in a nutshell?
Okay, so at its heart, local SEO shares a basic aim with general SEO.
Sure.
You want to boost the visibility of your website or maybe a specific page in the organic, the unpaid search results.
Right.
When your ranking improves, you appear more often, you naturally get more visitors. And these are visitors actively looking for what you offer.
Makes sense. So same core idea, just with a very specific geographical lens.
Precisely. The critical difference with local SEO is that laser focus. Instead of trying to rank, everywhere, you're fine-tuning your online presence so you stand out when people in your immediate area search for your products or services.
Okay.
The ultimate goal. It's really to drive more business, whether that's foot traffic or service calls, from those really valuable local searches, attracting the right customers right when they're nearby.
And when we say search engines, obviously Google comes to mind first. Bing, Yahoo, are those the only places we need to worry about?
Well, they're the primary ones, yeah. Google, Yahoo, Bing, Yandex, Baidu, depending on where you are. A lot of local search happens there.
Okay.
But a truly effective local SEO strategy looks a bit wider. You've got platforms like Yelp, Angie's List, super important for service businesses.
Right.
Even LinkedIn for certain professionals, local online business directories specific to your town or region, and definitely your social media channels. They all play a part in building that strong local online footprint.
Okay. So we've got the what. Let's maybe rewind a bit. Where did this whole focus on local in search actually come from?
Well, the Wikipedia entry points to the period between about 2003 and 2005 as a real starting point.
Okay.
That's when the search engines began to realize that, hey, knowing where the user is searching from is actually pretty crucial context. So they started integrating more geographically relevant results, things like, businesses opening hours, map listings, right there on the results page.
So it wasn't just finding a hardware store. It was finding one around the corner that was actually open?
Exactly that. And over time, this shifted from just showing nearby options to becoming a much more sophisticated, targeted marketing strategy.
Right.
Local SEO now really prioritizes those local search signals. It's less about just the general authority of a website and much more about how relevant that specific business is to someone searching nearby.
Okay, got it. So let's say someone searches for best pizza in their neighborhood.
Right.
What kind of results are they likely to see on that page?
Typically, the SRP, the search engine results page, for a local search will show two main kinds of results.
Okay.
First, you'll see what we call local organic results. These are the sort of standard web pages that the search engine thinks are most locally relevant. Often includes directories we just mentioned, like Yelp, Yellow Pages, maybe Facebook pages too.
And the second type, I feel like I know this one, the local pack.
That's the one, the local pack. It's usually very prominent, often right near the top. And it specifically features businesses that have, actively signed up for and managed their Google business profile, which you might remember used to be called Google My Business.
Google Business Profile, GBP. Okay, that sounds pretty central to all this. What is it exactly? What does it do for a business?
Think of GBP as a free, but incredibly powerful tool from Google for business owners. It lets them create and manage their business's listing on Google.
Right.
The key thing is these listings represent actual physical locations that customers can, visit or interact with locally.
So not really for purely online businesses then?
Generally, no. It's geared towards those brick and mortar or service area businesses. And these listings show up in two main places: Google Maps and the main Google search results.
And how important is getting that information right?
Oh, hugely important. The accuracy and completeness of your GBP listing are significant factors in how well you rank locally. It's like your digital shop window details.
So what info goes in there? Where does Google pull it all from for the GBP listing and that local pack?
It's actually a mix. It comes from a few places. First, the business owner provides the basics: opening hours, descriptions, photos, contact info.
Okay.
That's crucial.
Okay.
Second, Google's algorithms also look at the business's own website to verify things and find more details.
Ah, makes sense. Consistency again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you have the really influential stuff.
Yeah.
User-generated content.
Yeah.
We're talking customer reviews, photos people upload.
Right, the social proof element, those reviews seem huge.
They absolutely are. And it doesn't stop there. Google also pulls info from other places online, like social media profiles, and even structured data from sites like Wikidata and Wikipedia.
Really? Wikipedia?
Yeah, that often feeds into that knowledge panel you sometimes see on the side of search results. And remember, these local results pop up in both maps and regular search, mobile or desktop.
Gotcha. And I've definitely seen a Q&A section on some maps listings.
Yes, that's a neat feature Google added. It lets potential customers ask specific questions right there on the map listing.
And the owner can answer.
Yep, the owner can respond directly. It's linked right into their Google Business Profile account. So it's another good way to engage and provide info.
Okay, so we get what local SEO is, the huge role of Google Business Profile. But what can a business do to actually improve its local ranking? What are the key drivers?
Well, according to source material, some of the foundational things include making sure your business is listed correctly and consistently in relevant online directories.
Okay.
Also super important is having consistent name, address, and phone number, what we often call NAP information, crawlable on your website.
NAP, right.
And there are citations. These are basically mentions of your business, usually including that NAP info on other relevant websites. Think like your local Chamber of Commerce site or industry directories, digital head nods, basically.
So getting those details the same everywhere online is a big deal.
Absolutely critical. Inconsistencies can confuse search engines, confuse customers, and yeah, hurt your ranking. But the entry also talks about this interesting 2016 study. It looked at over 100 different factors potentially influencing local rank.
Wow, over 100. What were some of the big takeaways from that analysis?
Well, maybe not surprisingly, links from other websites to yours showed the strongest correlation with higher local rankings.
So king, huh?
Seems like it. Interestingly, they also mentioned Google's old toolbar PageRank still having some correlation, suggesting older established links might still carry weight.
Interesting. What else?
Sites with more content, which naturally means more keywords, tended to rank better. And maybe one of the biggest ones, reviews on Google Business Profile showed a very strong correlation with high rankings.
So those customer reviews are seriously powerful.
Definitely play a huge role, both for Google and for potential customers making decisions. This study also found having photos on your GBP listing and having it verified with opening hours showed a positive link, though maybe not quite as strong as reviews.
Okay. And citations. You mentioned those earlier.
Right, citations. The study suggested that having a solid base of consistent citations is important, like table stakes. But just having more citations than a competitor didn't necessarily give a big boost within the local pack itself. Quality over quantity, perhaps. Making sure they're accurate, consistent, not duplicated.
That's really interesting. What about stuff businesses might think helps, like putting their city and state in their website page title?
Yeah, that was one of the surprising bits. The study found that directly putting geo-targeting stuff like that in the GMB landing page title didn't really seem to impact GMB rankings much.
Huh.
The suggestion was maybe use it for user experience on the page, but don't expect a direct ranking bump from the title itself. However, having a relevant keyword in the business name itself, that was identified as a very important factor.
Which leads to potential spamming, I guess. People stuffing keywords in their business names.
Exactly. It can definitely incentivize that kind of behavior, unfortunately.
And what about the techie side? Structured data? Schema markup?
Yes, using schema structured data, specifically the local business markup, is seen as a ranking factor. It's like adding code labels to your site so search engines understand things better. Your hours, address, services, it helps them display that info accurately.
Makes sense.
And finally, this study just reinforced that both the sheer number of reviews you have and your overall average star rating correlate pretty strongly with ranking higher in that Google Map pack.
Okay, so it's definitely a complex mix. What does Google officially say about how they rank local businesses? Do they simplify it at all?
They do, kind of. Google officially states their local ranking systems focus mainly on three core things: prominence, relevance, and distance.
Prominence, relevance, distance. Okay, let's break those down. Prominence, what's that mean to Google?
Prominence is basically how well known a business is. Think about famous landmarks or really established local stores. They have offline prominence.
Right.
But Google also measures this online. They look at your review count and score, links from other sites, articles mentioning you, directory listings. It's about your overall reputation and visibility, both online and off.
Got it. And relevance.
Relevance is pretty straightforward. How well does your listing match what the person actually searched for? If someone searches vegan bakery, Google wants to show relevant vegan bakeries.
Makes perfect sense. And distance seems obvious too.
It mostly is. How close is the business to the location term used in the search? Or, if no location was specified, how close is it to the searcher's physical location that Google knows about? Closer generally means more likely to show up.
Right, how those three interact must be complex. Now, the Wikipedia entry also mentioned a 2017 survey of local SEO experts. Did they have any insights on trends? What was becoming more important?
Yeah, that survey highlighted a growing feeling among local SEO pros that both backlinks and customer reviews were becoming even more important than maybe they were before.
So reinforcing the earlier study findings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really underscores the ongoing, maybe even increasing, importance of those off-page signals like links and the direct feedback you get from customers via reviews.
And speaking of how people search, the entry notes a big increase in near-me searches. I definitely use that myself more now.
Oh, absolutely. With Google and Apple making it so easy, those near me or nearby searches have just exploded.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the factors that seem to correlate most strongly with ranking well in the local pack, specifically for near me searches, include things like having the city and state you want to rank for mentioned in the anchor text of your backlinks.
Okay, specific.
And also using the phrase near me itself in the anchor text of your own internal links on your website.
Wow, that's very tactical advice. Now, algorithms don't stand still, do they? The source mentioned a couple of big updates, Possum and Hawk. What did those change?
Right, algorithm updates happen. Possum rolled out in September 2016 and shook things up a bit. One big thing was businesses located just outside official city limits sometimes saw their rankings improve for searches within that city.
Oh, interesting.
It also seemed to make the filtering of similar businesses more strict. Before, Google might filter listings with the same phone number. After Possum, listings sharing the same address and same primary business category could get filtered out, even if they were different businesses.
Oof. Like doctors in the same building.
Exactly. Or different lawyers in the same suite. It could filter based on address and category proximity. And similar listings in the same building or even on the same street might get filtered, showing maybe only the one Google deemed most relevant or authoritative organically.
That sounds like it could have caused some major headaches, especially for businesses in shared spaces. What about the Hawk update then?
Hawk came along in August 2017 and seemed to be a refinement or adjustment of Possum's filtering. It basically narrowed the filter's radius. While Possum might have filtered businesses down the street from each other, Hawk seemed to make that intense filtering mostly apply only to businesses that were extremely close, like literally in the same building or maybe within, say, 50 feet. Businesses a bit further apart, maybe 300 feet or more, were less likely to be filtered just because they were similar.
So kind of dialing back the filter a bit to avoid filtering out legitimate, distinct businesses that just happen to be near each other.
That seems to be the consensus. Yeah, a recalibration for fairness.
Okay. Now, the last main point in the source material gets into something tricky. Fake reviews.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a persistent problem. Fake online reviews. And local SEO isn't immune. The entry mentions Joy Hawkins, who's a well-known expert in local SEO, and she highlighted some real challenges. One big one is that there isn't really a great process for a business to report fake reviews left on a competitor's listing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Google My Business support usually only deals with issues reported by the actual owner of the listing being reviewed.
So if your competitor gets spammed with fake positives, it's hard to flag.
It can be. Often, the main place to even try and report that kind of thing is the public Google My Business forum.
That must be incredibly frustrating for businesses playing fair.
It really is. And unlike, say, Yelp, Google doesn't usually put warnings on listings that show suspicious review patterns, like a sudden flood of 5-star reviews. And maybe the most concerning point raised is that Google's current algorithms might not be that great at spotting these unnatural patterns effectively. So fake listings or accounts leaving bogus reviews might not get caught and suspended as often as they should.
Wow. Sounds like there's definitely still work to be done there in tackling fake reviews.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
It erodes trust for everyone, users and businesses alike. It penalizes those who earn good reviews, honestly.
Well, this has been a really comprehensive look at local SEO. Just to kind of wrap up the key points, we've seen it's all about optimizing for those local searches, how absolutely vital Google Business Profile is.
Critical.
And the huge range of factors involve stuff on your website, stuff off your website, like links and citations, and of course, those all-important customer reviews.
And definitely worth remembering, it's always changing. Those algorithm updates like Possum and Hog show how dynamic it is. Plus, that ongoing challenge with fake reviews means you need to stay on top of things and focus on genuine customer engagement.
So, wrapping up, it seems clear that for a local business owner trying to succeed online, it really boils down to a strategic, consistent effort.
Yeah.
Making sure your basic info is accurate everywhere, actively engaging with customers, especially with reviews and Q&A, and just building relevance in your local online community. Based on all this, what do you think are maybe the one or two consistent actions a local business owner should really prioritize right now? What's likely to have the biggest impact, you reckon? Feels like some basics are just non-negotiable.